Welcome back to Growing Inspiration. I'm Shana McLean, and I'm here with Cammie Fuller at the Open Book in Warrenton, Virginia. And Cammie, thank you so much for joining me today, or letting me join you here in your beautiful bookstore.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're here.
And so for our listeners and watchers, could you give us a little bit about your background and what brought you to the Open Book and opening this up just a few years ago, right?
It's been 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's flown, actually. I would say, so I moved here. I moved around a lot growing up. There was always a bookstore, library, all the good things.
Mm-hmm.
And when we moved here, there was a Borders, there was a used bookstore called BJ's. It was fabulous. And both of them went out of business.
Mm.
And pretty much I sort of looked at my husband and said, I moved around growing up. We could move again and go somewhere where there's a bookstore. Or we could research and investigate doing this ourselves.
Mm.
I really think that a bookstore brings so much to a community. And I actually sat down with Maria Del Rosso, the head of the public library here, and asked her a bunch of questions. And she said, this community is full of readers, and I think they'd support a bookstore. And just took tiny steps from there. And then here we are.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I think you said it 7 years ago. So you opened up in 2019?
Yes, right? March 2019.
So you were open for about a year, and then the pandemic hit.
Yes, so exactly a year. So we opened up, and our grand opening a year later was the same day that we put out notice that we were closing the doors to customers, at least walking in. We maintained an online store, but it was exactly 1 year later. So our big 1 year anniversary was a little different than we had expected.
Yeah. So did the online business kind of sustain you through that period?
It did. It was very complicated because it has to be run from here. So we don't have a remote ability to run the online store. It's hard to explain, but it's just the technology of the system we use. So I had to be here to run it, and I had to be here alone. And yeah, it was complicated. And then a lot of times the phone would ring, and someone would be interested in a title, but they weren't in the store. So I'd be running around the store taking pictures or videos or just reading things to them. And then orders would be coming in online, and it was just complicated. But yeah, we did it.
And then you were able to open back up to customers. What, about 20?
No, we actually, I can't remember all the details of it now. I think, like, for a lot of us, it was so we just got on our feet and went. So the details of when exactly we let customers in, I don't remember. But there was a point when, in retail, it was considered safe to have a certain number of customers with masks in the store. And so we went by that advice, and we limited the number of people that came in. And we did end up at that point having 2 staff on hand. And so.
Did you find that people were really hungry for books and getting back into
Absolutely.
The bookstore? Yes,
definitely. One of the things that we did that was a way to maintain staff was to do free deliveries. And we did free deliveries for a couple months. And so I didn't do very many of them. Mostly that was a wonderful woman that worked here named Sue. I don't know if you were in here that first year, but she was fantastic. And Sue would deliver to people's houses, and over and over, she said they were just so excited. She'd walk up with this bag of books and leave it on the door, and then kind of back away, and like the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
And then they'd come out and they'd go, like, the books are here. They'd be so excited. The kids would be so excited.
Yeah.
And it was primarily books. There were puzzles and some of the little gifty items that we sell as well, but primarily just books. And the kids would be jumping up and down. It was really cute. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it was good.
A different time.
Yeah, it was.
And so I know you primarily through the book club for writers that
Yeah.
you host here, along with a number of other, normal, like just reading book clubs.
Yes.
What led you to start the book club for writers, and like, well, how has that, like, what does that mean to you? Or I could tell you what it means to me, but
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, book club for writers, I will say, is my baby. So Alice and Zach, who you know through the book club for writers, and I became good friends. She walked into the store actually our very first week. And started coming to our writing groups, which at that time were once a month. And it was this big open, anybody come, we just choose a few people to read, they read out loud, we respond in a group. And it was lovely, but we right away started to feel like not everyone was getting what they needed out of it. We weren't necessarily getting what we needed out of it. And trying to just brainstorm on what else we could do to really respond to a writing community that almost a writing community that was waiting to be formed. We could just sort of feel it. And so we started talking and, of course, getting ideas, and then the pandemic happened. But we kept thinking over that time, and we sort of broke it down to the three leading terms of what book club for writers is built on. So the craft of writing, the business of writing, and the community. And what we found was that the craft is always going to be part of a writing community, because we're all constantly trying to figure out what our craft is, or refine our craft, or discover, words of wisdom from people that we admire on the art of craft. And what the heck is craft? I mean, we had that discussion in this last one, which was actually really, really fun. Just what is it? What does that mean? And what does it mean to each person? It's so individual. So that is a really broad term, but we always try and do some focus on that. And then the business was really, that was a new one to me. And it came from this, discovering, that writing itself, depending on how you approach it, is obviously always going to be a craft, an art, something beautiful to share with the world. But there's another side of it that is how does that craft then get into a book, and then get into a store or into the hands of a reader somehow. And there are a lot of different pathways to that, more and more so actually, with traditional publishing and self-publishing and all of that. And I don't want to ever dictate the way I see it going for me, but I do want people to be aware enough that they don't go down these rabbit holes where they get taken advantage of, or it's just not what they expected. So that's the business piece. And then the community piece is this. The community piece is, finding other writers. It's a solitary craft. Connecting with them, learning from them, seeing what, springs of knowledge come from different relationships. And that's really where it's not about Allison and I at all forming the series. It's more about the people in the group connecting and finding ways to support each other. So,
and you mostly do it like fall and spring is when you have kind of a semester, and then, but it's been sold out every time.
Every single time.
And you've done it now for what, 3 or 4 years?
You know what is hilarious? I don't know what it is about it, but I can never quite figure out. I think it's 5 years now. I think we started after the pandemic. And I need to sit down and just look at the dates, because it's not that complicated. When did this show up on the calendar? But I think what's funny about it is it's like once we jumped in, we just been having so much fun that I'm not really thinking about how long it's all lasted. But it's probably about 5 years.
And I think that's what kind of surprised me, is just how many people in this relatively, small area are really interested in writing and coming together every week to talk about it and to learn about it. And probably if you had a bigger venue, you could sell it out even more.
I think I don't know that I'd want it to get bigger. Because I do love the intimacy of it. I mean, sometimes we share things from our own writing that are pretty,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it gets overly personal, but they're personal enough that we
Mm-hmm.
need that feeling of warmth in the room
Right.
that we get with
Yeah.
our numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot of creative, capable
Mm-hmm.
people interested in doing something with
Yeah.
their craft. Yeah.
And it's
So,
been about 20-ish or fewer than that.
we always cap it at 20, 25.
Mm-hmm.
But that includes Allison and I
Mm-hmm.
running it.
Yeah.
So,
And then the other thing that I've really appreciated is kind of the little like subgroups by genre, so that you kind of get, somebody else who's going through the same sorts of thought work that you are.
Yeah. And that's always a bit of a, you don't exactly know. Like we've had some children's writers who didn't have
Mm-hmm.
any other children's writer, at least in age range.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some poets who have joined, the fiction group or whatever.
Right.
But in general, you find as much as possible people that have some familiarity with at least the genre that you're working in.
Yeah. Through your own writing, I've heard you share some of your poetry, but more recently you went into children's books with Tickles the Mouse.
Yeah.
We didn't grab a copy of it.
I can grab one. It's a bit of a right turn, but that's very community driven. So that book, it's a fictional story about mice in Warrenton, and it's playful and imaginative, and it's really community driven in the sense that I like the idea of, if I was raising my kids here, or if I'd been raised here, just kind of the idea of little characters living alongside us and having fun and here, so I've never seen it as having a broad appeal. It's meant to be a Warrenton thing. There's another one coming out probably within the next year, maybe 9 months, but also working with Taylor Boyd, the illustrator, and just some more characters. Just
cool.
adding to the characters.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you have the copy written.
Yeah.
So how did you find your illustrator, and how was it to work with her on this?
Well, because it's a community project, I wanted someone from the community. And I got to know Taylor through the Warrenton Arts Commission. I'm on the board there. And there's a lot of wonderful artists in this town, just like there are a lot of wonderful writers. And just finding someone that I thought could bring the story to life. And so I just started talking to her about it one day, and she was interested. So we sat down and started brainstorming, and that's how it happened. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
And so would she kind of sketch something out and then send it to you, and you're like, that's sort of what I want?
A little bit, yeah. Once we got going, it happened like that. At first, it was I made a dummy of the book, so it was the writing approximately where we thought it would sit on the page, and then the white space around it, and we would just sort of pencil in what we thought needed to happen to bring that writing to life. And then sometimes it was removing writing and just saying it with illustration, which is something that I just came to understand from reading a lot of picture books. Like this is said in image, and this is said in word, and that partnership is really interesting. I love that part because we kind of hold our words dear, even in a silly little children's story. And then I thought, I don't think I need that. I think that sentence or that paragraph is actually going to be so much more fun for a child to see than to read.
Right.
And then where the illustrations and the words kind of come together is, when they're both playing a part. So that was really fun. And I think that's fortunate that I have a really good relationship with Taylor, and we both were able to see that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
And so, your poetry, you've been doing poetry much longer. Would you call yourself primarily a poet?
I don't know what to call myself. I love writing. I love words. I love reading. And I would say I'm almost as eclectic on paper as I am in life. I mean, I've done a ton of different stuff. And when it comes to writing, I sort of try all of it. I've written a middle grade novel. I don't think it'll ever see the light of day because I don't know that I was great at it, but I definitely wrote one. I also wrote a young adult novel, which I know won't see the light of day because I got to the second draft and said, yeah, no, this isn't so good. And I'm currently working on an adult nonfiction. I like all of it. But I would say, to simplify that answer, poetry is my first love. I started writing poetry when I was in the second grade, and I've never stopped. And I just love it. I love how it is actually how I understand the world. So maybe I shouldn't have all the other parts of the answer.
No, that sounds, I think probably most people who write dabble in all the different ways to kind of try things out and kind of see what might work, or a thought might work in a certain format that doesn't necessarily translate as well, or and so forth. But and how do you I guess first I wanted to ask that you've actually published chapbooks of poetry, or have you published a full?
No, just individual poems. I didn't ever I never sent in a single poem anywhere. I went to Breadloaf writing conference, which was the one started by Robert Frost right out of college. And I had all this, kind of momentum to go. And then I just needed a job. I mean, I just didn't have time. And it was so much different. There wasn't submittable. It was, literally, print out the poem, put it in an envelope and mail it. I mean, it felt like a lot. And I was just trying to, pay rent. So I never did anything with it. And then I also kept writing. And my mother was always wanting to know what I was writing. So she would always say, well, what have you written? And I'd say, well, you could read this one. And I would take any feedback from her at all because it was always so smart. And I'd say, you can put whatever feedback on it. And she'd put little notes. Oh, this is wonderful. Oh, what does this mean? Because as a poet, writing in vague terms sometimes. And then this is great, but is this about that? And she'd write little arrows up to it. And then she passed away, and 10 years ago. And I stumbled upon all these poems that she had written all these lovely notes on. And I thought, I guess I should do something with this. So I started sending it out and getting some publications here and there. And I'm still not that great at, I probably should just do a chapbook or something. But that's the story with that.
Wow. And what do you draw your inspiration from for your poetry, or for the books and essays and so forth?
Just life. I mean, I really am a nature lover. I really love the outdoors. I want to protect it, and I want to, exonerate just all of it. I just love nature and the world, and I love humans. I love human interaction. I love trying to understand sorrow and grief. Obviously, I wrote a lot about grief after my mom died, and it was, I'm like annoyingly hopeful to myself. I'll be just down in the dumps and write a poem, and I was like, oh, that made me feel better. Just all of it. I think that the reason I love poetry so much is there's not a phase of my life, not one, that I can think of that poetry hasn't just helped me figure it out.
Yeah.
A lot of times I don't think I do understand life until I write it down.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I just have to wrestle with it and wrestle with it and wrestle with it and wrestle with it. And I'll say, oh, that's what I was writing about. So I discover it as I write it.
That's really interesting. And do you think that creativity is something that kind of is inherent, or do you think it's a skill that can be built, or both?
I think we all have it. I think that it just is a matter of figuring out where your creative passion lies. And I think every voice is beautiful and matters and should be heard in some form, whether it's through dance or painting or, I mean, my son is becoming a farmer. That is his art form. It truly is. It's the way he can communicate with animals and all of that. It's a creative passion. It's beautiful. It's inspiring every day. And it has nothing to do with the types of art forms that I love. So I don't believe that it doesn't exist in a human. I think we all have it. It's just what's the muse? How does it come out?
Have you seen, like, through your work here and through the especially the book club for writers, have you watched anybody in particular, like, find that, like, aha, all of a sudden, like, they come here and they're kind of writing, but then, like, through the process and through the community, they kind of find that spark and they are off to the races?
Yeah.
A
few times. Yeah. I think it's happened more than I am part of, because again, while we do lead it, we also are trying to let it be its own organism and people finding each other. So sometimes I hear about it, but a few times, there was one time that someone was reading something. We were doing an exercise from Ursula K. Le Guin's Steering the Craft. Were you in that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. And someone read, and I won't say who it was just for their privacy, but read their piece. And I think were as stunned by what they had done as the rest of us were listening to it. It was like, I just did that. I just did this thing. And actually I saw that same person a month or so later, and they just still had this kind of glow about this moment that had happened where something had just broken through. Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah. And have I know several of the people that have been part of the book club have already published works and so forth.
Yeah.
And you have those actually up front in the store, some of them, local authors and Virginia authors and so forth. How much do you think kind of that sort of community, whether it's this particular group or just any group, kind of helps people along to get to their goal?
I think it depends person to person. I know we have a writer in the group who has produced a lot of books, and we had her here for a signing one time, and comes regularly. And part of me always thinks, do you need us anymore? I mean, you're really good at this. Like, I think you've got it. Right. And that's not to say I don't want her here.
Right.
I want anyone who wants to be here to find what they need out of it. But sometimes I look around and I think, you guys are really doing great. Like, you're really doing great here.
Kind of teaching this.
Yeah, you should be. I mean, so how much do people need it or rely on it? I don't know exactly, but I think everyone comes with what they need, and they keep coming if they continue to need it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I've certainly found it very useful, and the few times, like this past semester, I've taken off, but for other reasons, I've missed it, and so I definitely want to keep coming back as long as I can, because it seems to. I think it's like you said, the connections with other people, kind of rowing in the same direction, makes you feel like you're not the only person trying to figure this out, and you can always ask somebody, like, how did you get through this kind of a slump, or what was the, how did you work through this kind of a character issue or something like that? And it really helps to kind of move things along, and so you're not just shut down and in your own mind.
And I think that's the biggest danger to writing, is not to say that, painting is a community effort or whatever. I mean, I think creative arts are generally, solo activities. But I think when you're just sort of writing in your room or, whatever, even if you go out to write in public, like if you're writing at a coffee house or a bookshop or whatever, you don't really know how many people struggle with this and how many people have been in the place that you're in, which is, today I'm thinking this is just the worst thing I've ever seen. And then tomorrow you're like, oh, I didn't realize there were some really good parts of this. Like all of that is normalized when you're in community with people who are doing that type of work. And I mean, it just happened last week. We did our 1,000-word challenge. So we, challenge ourselves to 1,000 words a day. And we got here at 9 a.m. every morning and wrote for an hour. And one day I thought, wow, that is terrible. Like that is like, I don't know why you're even working on this. It's just my my reel in my head was just, put it down, just throw it away. And then someone said the same thing after we were standing up. They said, gosh, I feel like I don't have a lot of anything here actually. And the next day it changed for both of us.
Wow.
At the end of it, I said, I think I have some nuggets. And she said, me too. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know what she's writing. She doesn't know what I'm writing. It's just that same challenge of coming back to the page.
Yeah,
just
practice.
Come back.
Yeah.
You have a bad day, come back.
Right.
And that's what I think happens in community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the broader community here, I know you're very involved with the other businesses, and you mentioned that you're on the Arts Commission. How do you feel like the bookstore contributes to the rest of the community and works with like other arts organizations in particular?
I mean, I think it's all positive. I try and work with other businesses, like we're getting ready to do our Waldo event again this summer. Again, the playful side of things. It runs from July 1st to the end of the month, and we get 25 other businesses on board, and you go around and find Waldo in their stores. I mean, it's truly playful, silly fun for the summer. But I think that's actually all the feedback I've gotten on that is that it's very positive for all those other businesses. And we try, like we have our Polar Express event that we do every December, and we get everyone on our block involved in it. So we try and do things that are really easy to participate in. Like the bar is low. All you have to do is, maybe put a stamp on something and ideally smile and interact with the people that come through. But get people in and out of your doors. It's hard to be a small business. It's hard. I mean, they're doing all this work on the sidewalks, and everyone's just, you just have to find a way through and lean on each other if you can. And I love this town. I think it's been very welcoming to us. So hopefully it's seen as a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you I saw something recently. You started audiobook walks.
Yeah. I call it the perfect mix of introvert extrovert. So we meet up at the farmers market, and we share what book we're listening to. So we just kind of circle up and, I'm listening to this, I'm listening to that. And then we take off walking with our headphones on and don't talk to anyone until we come back. And then we chat a little bit and shop the market. It's
Sounds
really,
perfect.
it's really perfect. My daughter came this past weekend, and she said, yeah, I didn't really understand what you were talking about, but that was really fun. Yeah, I know. And there's, you're walking along and you're kind of laughing at something, or, off in the clouds thinking about what you're listening to, and you look at one of the other walkers and they're like, very, consternation and like something, I think they're listening to a thriller. I don't know what's happening in that book. It's very funny.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see everybody's, facial expressions and things going on.
Yeah, I like it. It's nice, and it sort of suits a different side of it, because we have 9 book clubs or something. It just suits a different personality, plus it's outdoors and moving around. So yeah, it's good.
That's great. What do you have coming up in your own writing? You said you're working on a nonfiction book.
Yes.
Is that something that you want to talk about any at all?
Sure. So I'm heading back to Breadloaf actually next week.
Cool.
It's the nonfiction environmental writers conference.
Cool.
And I'm really, really excited. So this book, I talked a little bit about how I'm very eclectic in my career. I had a career in flowers for a long time.
Oh, wow.
So I did flower design, and that was my bread and butter for a bit.
Oh.
And that's how I met my husband. And he and I got married on the flower farm where we met and had our kids there and all of that. It's a little bit of a love story, this book, but it's more than that. It's kind of a lifetime of questions and learning through flowers, and each chapter focuses on a different flower.
Oh, wow.
And some of it's environmental, and some of it is our current farm where we're trying to put in place all kinds of things to basically just to preserve the environment there. There's water, putting in riparian buffers to protect it from farming runoff.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that features into the book as well. But it's really been a pleasure to write.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm currently in the second draft of it. But I'm really hoping Helen McDonald, who wrote H is for Hawk, is my workshop leader for 5 days.
Wow. That's going to be cool.
And I'm pretty excited about that. She's an incredible writer. I just want a little bit of her genius. Just a little bit. Just can have a little bit of your genius. So that's what I'm working on. It's really a book about hope and beauty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Yeah. I love florography and love learning about that sort of thing. So I'm very excited about this. I'm excited to read it. I'd love to be a beta reader if you need one.
Oh, good to know. I will probably not forget that. It's on audio now.
Sounds great.
But I'm good at returning favors too. So.
And so what would you say is maybe the next, what are some things coming up this summer for the store?
Well, the Waldo event is a big one. All of our book clubs, just keeping them running. I run the Mostly Fiction book club, and then the summer writing days. So those start this coming Wednesday, every other Wednesday through the summer. So we meet up and we write in community for 45 minutes, and then we break into the genre groups like you were talking about.
Yeah.
No big events. What we have found in this town is like Waldo does great because you can do it whenever you want for the entire month of July. Last year we had 2 really wonderful events that if they had been planned during the year, like the school year, they probably would have been great, but we struggled to get people to attend them.
Everybody's going so many different ways.
Yes. It's like the one day everyone's, I'm at the beach, I'm at camp, I'm at this, I'm at that. So we're not doing anything like that. Plus, all the staff wants to be able to take breaks and do this and do that. And it's very much a team atmosphere here. So I just say, look, if you want to do it, we'll figure it out. But let's try and get things on the calendar as early as we can so everyone gets their time and their break. And so not that much exciting this summer, except the regular stuff, which keeps us very busy.
But relaxing and coming and relax with a book.
Yes, exactly. Relax with a good book.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Cammie. I've really enjoyed our conversation.
Me too. Thank you.